I woke up choking on iron-scented air and the sharp sting of panic. There's a smear of blood across the inside of my helmet. Not mine. Not yet. That's a mercy. My ship, the Argonaut, is a broken spine of steel, half submerged in dirt that oozes around it like slow, predatory hands. They were expecting me on New Perth. My wife, maybe. My daughter, most definitely. We had a call scheduled in 3 hours. That was 17 hours ago. No one's coming. I am alone on a planet that hates me. On a planet I can't find on any chart, not in all the mapped arms of the galaxy. And this world is clever about it. The land looks almost normal. If you squint, forests in anxious clusters, meadows that shimmer with dew in what passes for morning. Except nothing's right. The grass hisses when I walk, whispering threats in a language that feels too close to my own. The trees bleed when broken. Actual blood, thick and hot, coppery enough to turn my stomach, stinking of meat left in the sun. I pressed my palm to a trunk by accident, just for balance, and the bark split open. The tree shuddered and let out a moan I wish I could forget. The blood clung to my glove, sticky, pulsing. The ground breathes beneath me. Not metaphorically. It inhales and exhales, sometimes with a groan, sometimes with a tremor sharp enough to knock me off my feet. When I close my eyes, the wind carries something like my name. Elias. Always whispered, never spoken. If I run, the syllables chase me through the air. I stopped running by hour 2. I didn't want to know what would happen if I let myself get tired. Daytime is a fever dream, bright purple, so bright it hurts. Not the soft lavender of distant nebulae or any spectrum I learned growing up, but a furious, staring amethyst. At night, it curdles to green, a color that no human I should have to see. It makes my skin crawl. There are no stars, just blackness that hangs overhead, pressing in, hungry. Sometimes I swear the darkness thickens, bulges, and something heavy shuffles across it. No constellations, no hope. I tried setting camp by my ruined ship, using only what I could salvage. A tent, 3 ration packs, a half-charged beacon. I kept the lights on until something snatched my supplies. I didn't see what it was, but I heard the laughter. Not animal laughter. Something mimicking what it had overheard, half-human, stretched into something crueler than humor. There are no sounds here. Not really. No birds, not even the buzz of insects. Just this silence, so dense I have to unclench my jaw to make sure I haven't gone deaf. When I shout just to feel alive, the planet reacts. The trees tilt, eager. The earth ripples, almost excited. Shadows writhe at the corners of my eyes, growing limbs and eyes and teeth before disappearing again. Once I glimpsed something that wore my face, a pale mask, shifting just outside the light of my lantern. I haven't slept since. My distress beacon flashes its message, but there's no confirmation, no ping, no hope. Every hour that passes, I hear things in my head I'm not supposed to hear. Memories get replaced. I try to picture my daughter's face, but now it's woven with flickers of this place. Bark for hair, eyes like unlit stars. I think the planet wants me to stay. Not just my body, either. It wants my mind, my stories, everything that makes me me. It's getting worse. I walked in circles and wound up where I started, except my tracks are my own. Something else has walked here. Heavy, deliberate steps, as if it's sizing me up. The purple dawn brought a rain that stung my face and hissed against my suit, and when I wiped my visor, I saw words etched there. Words from childhood, from nightmares. At one point, I heard a voice calling for help, a child's voice. I know better than to hope, but I followed it anyway, only to find a clearing full of torn uniforms and shattered beacons, a graveyard of false promises. The voice switched to my mother's. I ran. Nothing stays still here. The sky flickers with motion when I blink, and my shadow moves where it pleases. Sometimes it crawls up the trees. Sometimes it stands perfectly still and grins. I want to believe someone is listening to this. If you find this signal, if you see the ruin of the Argonaut, don't set foot here. Not ever. This place is alive in a way that has nothing to do with cells or blood or science. It feeds, but not on flesh alone. My beacon's dying. I am not sure how much of me is left to lose. If you hear this, tell her I tried to come home. My vision keeps swimming, and I realize I haven't blinked in a while. When I try, grit scrapes under my eyelids. Ash, maybe, drifting on the wind. Or bone dust. It's impossible to be sure. The world has started to feel porous, as if my mind is leaking into the terrain and the terrain is leaking into me. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I caught sight of the wreck from a hilltop, except it wasn't my ship anymore. It was older, ribbed with roots and fungus, a monument to something ancient and restless. I shook myself and the image stuttered, flickering back to twisted metal and scorched paint. I've tried rationing my water and food, but the planet seems to notice whenever I eat. Once, as I bit into a protein brick, every tree within sight turned its branches in my direction. The ground puckered and rose beneath my feet, bulging upward like something trapped was pushing to the surface. That night, the earth beneath my camp pulsed, slow, relentless, like a heartbeat under the floorboards. Sleep is a mistake here. Dreams aren't safe. When my eyes close, I slip into memories I know are mine, but everything's wrong. My wife stands in the kitchen of that yellow house, except her face melts every time I get close. My daughter calls to me from her room, her voice echoing across endless, coiling corridors, always out of reach. Sometimes my father joins them, tapping at the glass of the porthole, smiling the exact smile the darkness wore last night. I found something during one of the purple mornings. A mound of bones, stripped clean, stacked in a spiral pattern. Human? Maybe, but one of the skulls had too many teeth. Another had no eyes at all. The bones vibrated, chattering as I stepped closer, and I could swear a voice hissed, "Join us." I ran until the ground bit at my boots, and I crashed face first into the breathing earth. When I got up, my hands were sticky with blood that wasn't mine. The planet is rewriting me, piece by piece. My thoughts feel borrowed, and sometimes I hear a second voice tangled in my own, offering advice. Once, it whispered a path through the trees, a shortcut back to the ship. I listened, desperate for hope. It took me nowhere. When I stopped and looked up, I was surrounded by trees with bleeding eyes, all weeping in unison. I screamed, and the forest screamed back. I keep finding objects I never brought. A cracked mirror, its surface rippling like water. A ragged child's toy, caked in soil. Even a faded photograph of me, standing where I am now, only older, hollow-eyed, rotted. I buried it under a rock, but the next morning it was pinned to my chest with a thorn. I tried to outweight the planet, to outthink it, but it is patient. It's not cruel in the way humans are cruel. It's just insistent. It waits for weakness and then it seeps in. Every soundless hour gnaws off another piece of me. Tonight, the air carries a promise of rain. The sky has turned almost black with veins of pulsing green, as if northern lights are smeared by a giant hand. Far off, I hear singing, a lullaby I know from childhood, in my mother's voice but warped, stretched into something hungry. The wind rattles the branches, and I hear my own name repeated in a chorus, rising and rising until the silence shatters. My beacon has lost contact, and the only light left is the pulsing glow from the trees. They beckon. I think about leaving the edge of my camp, about walking into the forest and not resisting this place anymore. It would be so easy to let go, to drop my pack and step barefoot onto the soil, to vanish into the greenlit shadows and dissolve. But something stubborn in me refuses. I press record again. I try to remember why I fought so hard to survive everywhere else. I want to believe that whatever this planet is, however ancient and clever, it hasn't won. And if I become part of this place, if I start to sound wrong, don't trust my voice. Don't listen to what it says. Leave this planet buried and nameless. Burn it from every chart and archive. Send help, or stay away. Either way, tell her I loved her. Tell them I tried. I've lost track of time. Maybe it's only been hours, or maybe days. Whatever rules exist here, they don't care about clocks or solar cycles. My body aches from moving, from tensing every muscle, from trying to be alert when sleep claws for me like a predator. My mind frays at the edges. Sometimes, when I reach up to wipe sweat from my brow, my wrist shudders with an involuntary spasm. The air is thick, humid, laced with a sour sweetness that coats the inside of my mouth. Every breath feels like swallowing something that wriggles. Yesterday, a word I use out of habit, with no proof it means anything, a new sun rose. For a few minutes, the sky blazed gold, the kind of gold you'd see in stories about hope and warmth. But it was cold, colder than the far edge of deep space, and the gold turned my skin almost translucent, like wax. I hid behind the wreck and tried not to look up, not to see the shapes writhing in the light. I kept my eyes shut until my eyelids burned, but I could still see them. Limbs opening, hundreds of eyes, mouths that whispered my memories backwards, one by one. Everything here wants attention. The land resents you for ignoring it, the trees for doubting their threat. Last night, again, I'm guessing at night, something enormous passed through the clearing just beyond the ship, flattening the ground. I heard it breathing, a rattling sound like stones tumbling in a drum. No footsteps, just a pressure that made my bones vibrate until my vision blurred. I didn't move. I barely breathed. The ship's hull still holds a dent where it leaned in, sniffed me through plated steel. The only thing more terrifying than the quiet moments when it feels like the world is gone, when the ground stops moving, the trees seem to wait, and nothing breathes but me. In those seconds, I nearly forget myself. I think if I just lie down and close my eyes, it'll be over. I'll slip away, and the planet will digest me, a swallowed thought. I resist by doing small things, inventorying what's left of my tools, cleaning my cuts, repeating the names of the people I love, Sarah, Ellie, even my old partner from my survey days. I talk to the beacon, telling it what happened as if I'm chronicling for someone who might survive, who has a future beyond this. Maybe that's what it takes, to remind this planet and myself that I'm more than just meat for its roots. But it's learning. Tonight, I found words written in the mud beside my camp. My words, phrases I whispered into the recorder days ago, but rearranged and twisted. I am watching the planet inside me scream your name too. I tried to wipe them away, but the letters just sank deeper, the mud swallowing my hand to the wrist before I panicked and yanked free. The screams have changed. Sometimes now, they come from the sky. Sometimes from within the earth. Close, so close I feel them in my teeth. Sometimes the screams come from me, though I can't remember what I screamed for. There are new flowers in the forest now, the color of bruised flesh. They grow in the outline of a human form. Not mine, not quite, but familiar. Each day more of them linger closer to my camp, petals trembling when I look away, as if waiting for permission to bloom in my skin. One last thing, when I tried to sleep, I saw the stars for the first time since crashing here. Thousands, packed so close together they pulsed as one living thing. I watched, transfixed, through the cracked glass of the Argonaut's ruined port, counting them like prayers. Then they blinked, one by one gone, and a new voice filled the sky, calling to me, not as a warning, but a welcome. I'm not sure how much longer I can stay awake. I don't know if this will reach anyone, or if it even matters. But if it does, if anyone hears me, remember, this planet wants company. It's patient. It will wait 1,000 years for the next lonely soul unlucky enough to trespass. Don't answer its welcome. Don't look the sky's voice in the eye. Above all, never say your own name out loud. Remember me as I was, not as whatever I become. In transmission. Light, real, pure, white, splits the night open. At first I think it's another hallucination. The way the forest splits, the purple sky shivering, branches bending back as if to shield themselves, feels so unnatural that I dig my nails into my palm just to feel pain. The sky is howling, an animal sound, louder and higher than anything this world's made before. It isn't just the planet now. Something else is here. I crawl to the edge of the clearing, pressing my battered body against a stone that, hours ago, had teeth. Now it's humming, like it's afraid. There's a roar in the distance. Turbines, real engines, not the guttural murmurs I've tried to ignore. I see it then, through the haze, through the bone-white mist that's rising from the ground. A rescue cutter, military grade, screaming low overhead with lights so bright every hidden thing in the woods recoils in agony. My throat is raw, but I scream anyway, waving my arms frantically, desperate not to look away in case the forest tries to swallow me up again. They must see my distress flare. I can't remember if I ever turned it off. Maybe I never did. Maybe the planet let it run all this time because it wanted more prey. A beam falls from the belly of the cutter, clean, dazzling, unmistakably human. The radio crackles, an anchor line of sound hauling me back from madness. Elias Rowan, we have your coordinates. Do not move. Rescue inbound. I can barely breathe. I almost sob with the relief and terror tangled together in my chest. The woods groan around me. Trees shake. Roots writhe. Something ancient and angry bellows from the earth's belly, louder than thunder. But the light scorches a path clear. Nothing can cross that barrier. Drop ships descend, black armored boots pounding the trembling ground, weapons bristling. They move fast, a practiced formation. One of them kneels in front of me, visor gleaming with my reflection, a human face. He's real. He's saying my name over and over, anchoring me, bringing me back. It's okay. We've got you. They lift me onto a stretcher, securing my trembling arms and legs. As they drag me away, the trees reach, bark splitting with hungry, frustrated wails. The sky above cracks, green and black bleeding into shards of white, as the cutter's engines roar and boil the air. I watch the bleeding woods recede, the ground thrash in fury as the cutter rises. Something in the darkness follows, claws scrabbling, eyes burning. I feel the planet's hatred, its loneliness, thrumming in my bones. It's not done. It remembers everyone who leaves. Inside the ship, a medic works over me, murmuring comfort. The lights are too bright. The air is too clean. They hand me water that tastes like hope, wrap my wounds, cover my eyes so the afterimages of that cursed world can finally fade. I don't know who else received my signal, or how many tried and failed before me. I only know I'm not dead, not yet. As the rescue ship tears itself free of the atmosphere, I turn for one last look through a porthole, down at the living land. I swear I see the forest spell out something in the bleeding mud, one last promise or threat. The medic pulls me away gently. "Don't look back," she says. "That's not your world anymore." We breach orbit. I retch, my stomach catching up with the reality that I'm saved. I close my eyes. I try, desperately, to remember my daughter's face the way it was, not the way the planet twisted it when I nearly gave up. I repeat her name in my head, then my wife's, over and over, until they're mine again. I survived, but I'm not sure if I made it out whole, or if a piece of that planet waits inside me, patient, hungry, dreaming of home. If you're out there and you hear this, my story isn't a warning. It's a map. Don't set foot where the stars aren't meant to shine. Rescue complete. Transmission ended.